CTV Edmonton, local breaking news with Evan Kenny.
Good evening. The province is putting out a warning about a measles exposure at the Stollery Hospital. The exposure was at the hospital's X-ray department and waiting room between 5:30 and 10:15 Saturday night. The province says anyone who attended this location at any of these times who was born in or after 1970 and has fewer than 2 doses of the measles vaccine or has never had the disease may be at risk for developing measles. Symptoms include a fever, cough, red eyes, and a rash behind the ears and on the face. Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation is hoping a judge will shut down a petition for an Alberta separation referendum. The First Nation says allowing it to go forward would violate its treaty rights. CTV's Amanda Anderson reports.
A third-floor courtroom was packed when the Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation asked a judge for an interim order to stop a separation referendum.
It didn't need to get to this point, but now that we're here, we really want to express to all governments that, First Nations aren't going anywhere.
Sturgeon Lake Cree Nation Chief Sheldon Sunshine says the potential referendum question asking if Alberta should separate from Canada is a violation of treaty rights.
Our treaties were signed with the Crown, British Crown, and the responsibility was passed on to Canada to uphold that obligation. And that can't be unilaterally passed across. We're not some chattel on the land where we can be passed around and be somebody else's responsibility.
The group Stay Free Alberta started the petition. Last week, the group said it collected more than the 178,000 signatures needed to trigger a referendum a month before its deadline to submit them to Elections Alberta.
They're seeking an injunction prohibiting the Chief Electoral Officer of Alberta from transmitting the official count of signatures to the Alberta Legislature.
Jeff Rath, who was at the hearing as an observer for Stay Free Alberta, says the referendum is simply a question.
This is where we're at. There's a process for First Nations consultation. It only takes place in the framework of a non-hypothetical situation, which would be after a yes vote. And they actually have a constitutional guarantee of a place at the constitutional table under Section 35.1.
The First Nation disagrees. Its lawyer says the language in Bill 14, Alberta's Justice Statutes Amendment Act, is binding. She also described the bill as a welcome mat for foreign interference. The court also heard since the start of the petition campaign, incidents of racism as well as mis- and disinformation about treaties is on the rise. While hopeful the injunction is granted, Chief Sunshine worries the provincial government will just change the legislation to circumvent the court ruling.
Should we win, then they'll make accommodations again. So, that's our expectation.
The same petition will be back before a judge Wednesday for a judicial review. Amanda Anderson, CTV News, Edmonton.
Alberta's opposition leader is calling on the Premier to fire Justice Minister Mickey Amery. Naheed Nenshi is accusing Amery of political interference. It has to do with Sam Marash, the CEO of MH Care Medical, an Edmonton-based medical supplier. According to a Globe and Mail investigation, Amery shortened the amount of time Elections Alberta has to penalize political donation violations. It says this happened while Marash was under investigation for a political donations complaint. Nenshi wants that investigation reopened. He says Amery and Marash's close relationship through marriage and friendship is a conflict.
Even if there's nothing here, this looks bad, the conflict of interest is apparent, and the government needs to be able to say, look, nothing shady is going on here, so let's reopen the investigations, let's fire Mickey Amery, and let's have a public inquiry.
Danielle Smith's press secretary says the minister was not aware of the investigation and that the Election Statutes Amendment Act that came into effect in July did not include a retroactivity provision. Her office also said the election commissioner and the ethics commissioner are responsible for investigations and enforcement, and its offices operate independent of government. The rural municipality of Wood Buffalo has plans to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Fort McMurray wildfire.
There was lots of moments where we witnessed human compassion as a powerful tool that helped our community heal. I feel that is a tool that should be recognized and that should be honored.
At a special council meeting, the municipality heard ideas focusing on the community's response. On May 3rd, 2016, 80,000 people were forced to evacuate from Fort Mac. The fire had doubled in size in just a few hours that morning and crossed over Highway 63, the only major evacuation route south. The fire burned about 5,800 square kilometers, more than 7 times the size of Edmonton. About 2,400 buildings burnt to the ground. It was the most expensive natural disaster in Canada's history at an estimated $9 billion. Edmonton police are under investigation after tasing a man. The Alberta Serious Incident Response Team says a hotel employee downtown called police about 2 weeks ago for a man refusing to leave the lobby. ASIRT says the man resisted being handcuffed and an officer used a conducted energy weapon on him. The man was taken to hospital after saying his arm hurt. The police watchdog says it doesn't know the full scope of the man's injuries. A Calgary man has been found guilty of drugging and sexually assaulting multiple women. Richard Mantha has been convicted in the cases of 3 vulnerable women. The police investigation centered around a property he rented at a rural home east of Calgary. Mantha was accused of attacking 7 women between August 2019 and April 2023. He initially faced 20 charges. Mantha was convicted on 6 offenses, with the charges of 3 other complainants being dismissed. Sentencing will take place on a later date. A group of students want the province to make it harder for young people to see ads for online gambling sites. They're also calling on the Oilers captain, Connor McDavid, to stop showing up in the ads they say are targeted at young gamblers. CTV's Connor Hogg has more.
Drain that 3!
Trying to practice here, Wayne.
Student Advocates for Public Health says commercials like these are everywhere. It says they entice teenagers to experiment with gambling.
I refer to it as a drug wrapped in a game. It doesn't matter how many times you tell them, don't do it, it's not safe for you. If their friends are doing it, if they see athletes doing it, if it's there and available, they're more likely to do it.
The group wants to see the province ban all gambling advertising within Alberta, enforce lower betting caps, and commit to funding Alberta-specific research on problem gambling. Service Alberta Minister Dale Nally says some of those changes are coming.
65% of the online gambling market in Alberta is the black market, and many of them don't age gate, which means that it's easy for these kids to open up their own account and start betting, or to borrow their older brother's account.
Nally says new provincial restrictions were supposed to come into effect this spring. They've been delayed until the summer due to requests from operators. They'll include ways problem gamblers can block themselves from gaming, enforcing 1% of gross gaming revenue towards helping those struggling with problematic behaviors. The province says athletes will only be able to participate in advertising that's socially responsible.
Dude, did you know BetMGM has responsible gambling tools?
We're going to restrict celebrity endorsements, so you're not going to see Connor McDavid promoting online gambling. We're going to put tough guardrails in place so that they can't market towards vulnerable Albertans.
The students would like to see athlete-focused ads gone altogether, writing an open letter to Oilers captain Connor McDavid, asking him to stop participating in online betting ads.
Youth, young adults really admire athletes such as Connor McDavid, but we also invite him to join our cause and be part of the solution.
CTV News reached out to the Oilers Entertainment Group for comment. They did not respond. Nally says the province's new restrictions will launch on July 13th. Connor Hogg, CTV News, Edmonton.
Edmonton police are looking for more possible victims after a man was charged with selling cars with altered odometers. Police have charged 39-year-old Harmandeep Singh Bindra with fraud. Police say last month, someone bought a vehicle through Facebook Marketplace that appeared to have an altered odometer. The buyer ended up paying a much more than what the vehicle was worth. Investigators believe Bindra may have altered odometers several times since last year. He may also use aliases like Harry Smith, Harry Singh, Harmandeep Singh, and Gurdev. Police say 2 people have come forward. They believe there may be more victims. The city auditor says a malfunctioning smart fare machine allowed fraudsters to steal tens of thousands of dollars from the city over several months. While the crime was reported to police, no charges could be laid because the fraudulent ART cards were not registered.
Knowing that the people that perpetuated that crime will not be held to account is concerning, and I want to just, ask some questions when I go to the audit committee this week on how we've made sure that that loophole is closed.
Between September 2024 and June 2025, an unknown number of people made roughly $65,000 worth of fraudulent transactions using the machine. The audit doesn't say where that machine was. The city identified more than 300 suspicious ART cards and recovered $20,000 from them. More details are expected at audit committee on Friday. A new modular home development by ATCO could soon be built next to Terwilliger Drive. Today, council approved the rezoning required to make it happen, despite concerns raised by leaders of the church next door. ATCO's housing division, Viva Homes, plans to build 3-story townhomes on land it owns next to St. Thomas More Church. The project will have 32 units, with half of them featuring 3 bedrooms. A spokesperson told council the modular design will allow for lower rents. A few leaders from the church spoke against the rezoning. They're concerned additional traffic will clog up the street, which is heavily used during church events. They're also worried about the impact to emergency vehicles at the neighboring fire hall.
I love this location. It's close to Terwilliger Rec Center. It's close to the River Valley. There's a bus rapid transit line direct that's going to be going from there up to the University of Alberta. I could see this being a very, very desirable place to live.
Council approved the rezoning, but it was not unanimous. An effort by Councillor Mike Elliott to postpone a decision until more traffic analysis could be done was dismissed. A group dedicated to what it calls better infill says council's latest changes to infill housing rules need to go further. In February, council voted to shrink the maximum height by 1 meter. It also voted to adjust city policy to focus infill projects of 4 stories or taller along arterial roads, especially near transit or on corner lots. A public hearing on the bylaws needed to enact those changes took place today. Jan Hardstaff with the Residential Infill Working Group says the policy is still too broad and should do more to consider an infill's context in the neighborhood. While she welcomes the height reduction, she believes the buildings are still too large.
It is not meaningful change because the buildings are still very long if all of the site coverage is in one building.
Ultimately, what we heard from many neighbors was a concern about the massing of the build beside them, regardless of the number of units. And so council's been making adjustments.
Last summer, council voted to shrink the length of infill buildings and require designs choice that make them look more like a house. It also held the maximum unit count at 8. Council had to postpone its decision on the policy change and the height reduction because the meeting ran too long. A gondola that would be open year-round is being proposed in Canmore. The project would go up Mount Lady Macdonald in the Silvertip area. It's the latest proposal under Alberta's All-Season Resorts Act, and it's coming with quite a bit of opposition. CTV's Tyler Barrow reports.
Silvertip Resort in Canmore wants to add a gondola. It would start here just off the side of the Trans-Canada Highway before touching down in the Silvertip Village. It would eventually take tram riders 3/4 of the way to Mount Lady Macdonald.
There's probably 90% of people that can't hike up the mountain to the old Mount Lady Macdonald Tea House, so this would be an all-inclusive project for everybody.
It would feature viewing platforms along with a day lodge at the top with a restaurant. Turcotte estimates 200,000 to 300,000 people would ride it every year. It would be built over the Bow Valley Wildland Park. The developer, Stone Creek Resorts, is in the initial engagement steps, including this open house to have the land designated as an all-season resort area by the province.
We engage with Albertans, we take a look at the actual land, make sure it's compatible, there's alignment.
Carl Griffith's home backs up onto Silvertip Golf Course where he has a view of Mount Lady Macdonald. He is against the proposal.
It's a disgrace. It will spoil the area. It will spoil the peace and tranquility of Canmore.
a sentiment shared by many in the town.
We already are full, basically. There's already too much tourism in the Bow Valley.
Stone Creek Resort says the project won't add more people to the area, but rather create another amenity for visitors. Wildlife and habitat baseline studies are being completed, which will feed into its required environmental assessment. Conservationists fear it could present challenges.
Negatively impact wildlife that use the top of the mountain, and also the wildlife that use the movement corridor that's lower on the slopes of that same mountain.
Public engagement will be held until May 11th, and from there the province has 150 days to review the project. If approved, Stone Creek Resorts could start planning for development. Building won't begin for another year. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Canmore.
Coming up next, why the Edmonton Riverhawks will be losing their main parking lot. Also just ahead, 8 years after the Humboldt Broncos bus crash, how a national organ donor campaign has grown.
It makes me really proud to know that he continues to have an impact on people and inspire people.
Good evening, folks. A little bit of snow to bookend the day this morning and again this evening. 4 degrees in between those pockets of snow, and it looks like we should be even warmer tomorrow with a bit more sunshine in the forecast. Big warm up towards the end of the week. We'll talk about that in a couple minutes.
Programming brought to you by James H. Brown Injury Lawyers, the heavy hitters of injury law.
Wednesday on Your Morning, has Canada backed away from climate concerns, and what's next for green energy? Plus, how to recognize when you're overwhelmed and what to do about it.
Your Morning Edmonton, weekdays.
The Edmonton Riverhawks are looking to transit as a solution for the potential loss of its main parking lot north of Remax Field after this season. City Council's Executive Committee received a proposal last week asking for more money to start the River Crossing community redevelopment. $3 million for the project was previously approved. The proposal asks for another $15 million. Phase 1 of the project would transform the parking lot into housing units. The Riverhawks are excited about the redevelopment plan as long as the city keeps transportation in mind.
We just want to be sure it's done properly and make sure that the city gives enough attention to how to move people in and out of the area. We've got more than 9,000 people coming down to some games. So how are we going to get those people in and out of that area effectively and not to impact that fan experience that we've really been given a lot of credit for?
To get people used to the possibility of less parking in the future, city transit to and from games will be free this year for people with Riverhawks tickets. It's been 8 years since Logan Boulay died after injuries sustained from the Humboldt Broncos bus crash. His decision to become an organ donor kickstarted a national movement and Green Shirt Day. CTV's Quinn Keenan reports from Lethbridge.
Logan Boulay was one of 16 people killed in the Humboldt Broncos bus crash in 2018. While he officially died on April 7th, Logan's family considers the 6th to be the day he passed. They now commemorate every April 7th as a day of celebration rather than mourning.
So we use it as much as we can as a celebration. Our Green Shirt Day skate, we give plasmas a day. It's just a day that we go for dinner tonight to one of Logan's favorite restaurants. Just a fun, we just try to make it a celebration.
Not long before he died, Logan had signed up to become an organ donor. He was inspired by his mentor and family friend Rick Suggett, whose organs saved the lives of 6 people when he died. Logan's organs likewise helped save 6 people.
Our hope is that we can create a new culture where people talk about organ and tissue donation, and it's not like a subject that's taboo or it's daunting. But it becomes more of an everyday topic.
Logan's story made national headlines. Almost 150,000 Canadians became organ donors following the crash. That has since been dubbed the Logan Boulay effect. Now, Green Shirt Day is celebrated every April 7th to promote organ donation.
By being able to donate has made an impact on so many, and to want them to be registered donors and for them to have conversations. So it makes me really proud to know that he continues to have an impact on people and inspire people.
Logan's family now spends much of their time working on the Green Shirt Day cause. They're proud to see how much of an impact Logan's story continues to have even 8 years later.
So we work all the time, and we like to do that. It's something, just want to do that.
Quinn Keenan, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The company behind a proposed $10 billion data center in Olds is once again seeking regulatory approval. Synapse is resubmitting an application after the Alberta Utilities Commission closed the previous file due to a lack of information. The company says it has added more technical detail and continued community engagement. If approved, the facility would be powered by a natural gas plant. There's no word how long the review process could take. Wildfire training has begun at the Red Deer Regional Airport. Flight crews will be practicing targeted aerial drops and training with ground crews. Airspray is the Alberta-based company behind the training. It operates a fleet of over 50 aircraft to help manage the spread of wildfire. A temporary noise advisory will be in place during the training sessions. Residents are advised to expect heavier than normal aerial traffic during this time. The cost of playing Lotto Max is going up. Starting Friday, the price of Lotto Max tickets are rising from $5 to $6. Each ticket will now have 4 lines instead of 3. While you will get an extra play on each ticket, there's also a shift to a larger pool of numbers. Players will now pick 7 numbers from 52 instead of 50. And starting next Tuesday, the maximum jackpot is rising to $90 million, up from the current $80 million cap.
Programming brought to you by Green Tree Outdoor Living, where your dream yard becomes a reality.
Welcome back. 4 degrees for a high today puts us 4 degrees below average. Looks like we should be back a little closer to average for tomorrow and Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, double-digit daytime highs. There's the snow moving off to the south. We're going to mix the sun and cloud tomorrow further to the northeast. Another batch of snow back through the foothills as well. You'll see some snow. That could be a couple centimeters worth. Here in the Edmonton area, I think around supper time, the cloud cover will thicken up. There's a slight chance you might see a brief spotty shower. Nothing significant. Partly cloudy skies for Thursday. Again, late in the day, there'll be some scattered showers, but I think those should all fall apart before they hit the Edmonton area. -5 tomorrow morning here in the city. Same goes for Grand Prairie, about -6 in Red Deer. -10, -11 range across the northeast. Your daytime highs get to 2 or 4 degree range. Could be some fog patches in parts of the northeast tomorrow morning. That'll burn off fairly quickly. A handful of degrees above 0 with mostly cloudy skies in the northwest. 7 for Red Deer, a little cooler in the Lloydminster area, a degree or 2 above 0. Jasper gets to about 6 for a daytime high. We'll be in that 6 or 7 degree range here in the city. Mix of sun and cloud, light wind, slight chance of a spotty shower tomorrow evening. 8, maybe as warm as 10 for Thursday. And then 13 and 11 in the forecast for Friday, Saturday. There's a chance of some showers turning to wet snow Saturday night. Chance of rain or wet snow for Sunday. Really, beyond Saturday, there's a fair amount of uncertainty with the forecast. I think we're probably going to be in the 5 degree range for daytime highs Sunday, Monday. A little bit of a bump there Tuesday, and then back into that 5 to 10 degree range for the middle to the end of next week. So it's been a cool start to the month of April. And for most of the next 10 days, temperatures will be slightly below average. Nice little warm-up, though, to look forward to for Friday and Saturday. That is your forecast.
More acts have been added to the Boots and Hearts West Music Festival. Platinum-selling hitmaker Travis Denning will headline Friday night of the festival. On Saturday, rising star Graham Barham will join artists like Shabuzi, Midland, Zach McPhee, and Brock Phillips. Boots and Hearts runs August 28th and 29th at Ice District. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival also unveiled the bulk of its lineup today.
They're like, Aziz, you're not going to believe it. I just had a baby. And I always have the same reaction. I always go, that sucks. I'm so sorry that happened.
Comedians Aziz Ansari, Robbie Hoffman, and Saturday Night Live alum Pete Davidson will open the festival on Friday evening. Former Daily Show correspondent Hassan Minhaj, current Daily Show correspondent Ronnie Chang, and Crazy Rich Asians actor Jimmy O Yang have been added to the Sunday night lineup. The Great Outdoors Comedy Festival runs July 17th to the 19th at Kinsman Park. Exciting time, festival season just around the corner. That's all the time we have tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good rest of your night.